Long before Europeans arrived, millions of Native Americans lived across the land that would later become the United States. Tribes such as the Cherokee, Apache, Sioux, Navajo, and Iroquois built societies, traded goods, farmed crops, and created rich cultures. Some tribes lived in forests, others in deserts or plains. They hunted buffalo, grew corn, and respected nature deeply. Large cities and trading networks already existed centuries before European explorers arrived. European exploration. In 1492, Italian explorer Christopher Columbus sailed across the Atlantic under the Spanish flag. Although he never reached the mainland United States, his voyage opened the door for European colonization of the Americas. Soon, Spain, France, England, and the Netherlands competed for land in North America. The English established colonies along the eastern coast. In 1607, Jamestown in Virginia became the first permanent English settlement. Later, in 1620, the Pilgrims arrived on the Mayflower and settled in Plymouth. Over time, 13 British colonies developed along the Atlantic coast. Life in the colonies. The colonies grew rapidly. Farmers planted tobacco and cotton. Merchants traded with Europe. Cities like Boston, Philadelphia, and New York became important centers. But life was not equal. Millions of Africans were kidnapped and brought across the Atlantic as slaves. Enslaved people worked on plantations under brutal conditions, especially in the southern colonies. At the same time, tensions between the colonies and Britain began to grow. Colonists were angry about taxes imposed by the British government without representation. The American Revolution. By the 1770s, many colonists wanted independence. In 1773, angry colonists dumped British tea into Boston Harbor during the famous Boston Tea Party. War soon followed. Leaders such as George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin helped lead the revolution. On July 4, 1776, the colonies signed the Declaration of Independence, announcing freedom from Britain. American Revolutionary War lasted for years. Finally, in 1783, Britain recognized American independence. The United States was born, building a new nation. After independence, the country needed a government. In 1787, leaders wrote the U.S. Constitution, creating a democratic system with three branches of government. In 1789, George Washington became the first president. The nation expanded westward rapidly. Settlers moved into Native American lands, leading to conflicts and forced removals. Expansion and conflict. During the 1800s, the United States grew larger through purchases, treaties, and wars. The Louisiana Purchase doubled the country's size. Explorers Lewis and Clark mapped western lands. Gold discoveries in California attracted thousands of people during the gold rush. But the issue of slavery divided the nation deeply. Northern states increasingly opposed slavery, while southern states depended on enslaved labor for agriculture. The Civil War in 1861, tensions exploded into the American Civil War. The northern states, or Union, fought the southern states, Confederacy. President Abraham Lincoln led the Union and declared enslaved people free through the Emancipation Proclamation. The war became the deadliest conflict in American history. In 1865, the Union won, slavery officially ended, and the country remained united. Soon after Lincoln was assassinated, industrial growth. After the Civil War, the United States industrialized rapidly. Railroads connected the country. Factories grew. Millions of immigrants arrived from Europe and Asia seeking better lives. Inventors changed the world. Thomas Edison developed electric lighting. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. Henry Ford revolutionized car production. Cities became larger and more modern. However, workers often faced dangerous conditions, poverty, and discrimination. World wars and global power. In the 20th century, the United States became a world power. During World War I, the U.S. joined the Allies. Later came the Great Depression, a massive economic crisis during the 1930s. Then came World War II. After the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, the U.S. entered the war. American forces fought in Europe and the Pacific. In 1945, the U.S. dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, helping end the war. After World War II, the United States emerged as one of the two global superpowers alongside the Soviet Union. The Cold War. The U.S. and the Soviet Union competed politically, militarily, and technologically during the Cold War. This period included the nuclear arms race, the space race conflicts like the Korean and Vietnam Wars. In 1969, astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first human to walk on the moon during Apollo 11 moon landing. Civil rights movement, despite ideals of freedom, racial discrimination remained widespread. During the 1950s and 1960s, African Americans fought for equal rights. Leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr. inspired millions through peaceful protests and powerful speeches. Civil rights laws eventually ended legal segregation, though struggles for equality continued. Modern America, by the late 20th and early 21st centuries, the United States became a leader in technology, entertainment, business, and military power. Companies from Silicon Valley changed the world through computers, smartphones, and the internet. The country faced major events including the September 11th attacks, wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, economic crises, political divisions, advances in science and medicine. The United States today is a diverse nation of people from many cultures, religions, and backgrounds. Conclusion: the history of the United States is filled with triumphs and tragedies, freedom and conflict, innovation and struggle. From native civilizations to independence, civil war, world wars, civil rights movements, and modern global influence, the nation has constantly evolved,